Persistence is not an act performed on occasion, nor is it a burst of enthusiasm summoned during moments of inspiration. It is a disciplined mental posture maintained quietly and consistently, regardless of fluctuating conditions. It does not depend upon excitement, encouragement, or visible progress. It depends upon decision. The man who persists has reached a conclusion regarding his purpose and has ceased to debate it internally. Most men exhaust themselves not through effort, but through indecision repeated daily. Each time a man revisits a choice that should have been settled, he diminishes his authority over himself. Persistence begins where deliberation ends. It must be understood that the mind, left undisciplined, seeks relief rather than accomplishment. It favors comfort over continuity. When effort extends beyond immediate reward, the mind begins to question whether continuation is reasonable. This questioning is not evidence of failure. It is evidence that persistence is being tested. The majority interpret this test incorrectly. They assume that discomfort signals error, that delay indicates rejection, and that uncertainty implies futility. In truth, these sensations accompany every legitimate endeavor of consequence. They are not obstacles placed in the path of success. They are the very conditions through which success must pass. Persistence requires emotional governance. It is the ability to prevent temporary feeling from overruling permanent intention. Feelings are unreliable guides. They fluctuate with fatigue, environment, and circumstance. Intention, once fixed, must remain sovereign if progress is to continue. I have observed repeatedly that men of great talent often fail where men of modest ability succeed. The difference is seldom intellect. It is temperament. The persistent man refuses to allow discouragement to become directive. He experiences doubt, but he does not consult it for instruction. Persistence is not blind adherence to a single method. It is loyalty to purpose, combined with flexibility of approach. The man who persists intelligently alters his strategy when reason dictates, but he never abandons his aim simply to escape discomfort. He understands that plans may fail without purposes failing. This principle operates according to natural law. Nature yields her rewards only after faith has been demonstrated through sustained action. She does not respond to wishing nor to sporadic effort. She responds to continuity. For this reason, persistence becomes a form of communication with the unseen forces that govern outcome. The individual who persists learns to expect delay. He anticipates resistance. He understands that progress is rarely linear. Advancement often proceeds in cycles, periods of visible gain followed by periods of consolidation. During consolidation, nothing appears to be happening, yet everything is adjusting. Those who lack persistence misinterpret these intervals. They conclude that stagnation has replaced progress. They withdraw effort at the precise moment when accumulated action is reorganizing itself into results. Persistence allows the individual to remain steady during these invisible transitions. It is important to note that persistence is more often eroded by small discouragements than by great failures. Minor disappointments repeated daily weaken resolve gradually. The persistent individual guards against this erosion by refusing to dwell upon trivial defeats. He measures progress by adherence to principle rather than immediate outcome. Each day in which he acts in harmony with his purpose is counted as advancement, regardless of visible reward. This method of measurement stabilizes effort and preserves morale. It prevents the mind from becoming dependent upon external validation. Over time, persistence reshapes character. It produces independence of thought. emotional maturity, and self-reliance. The individual who has mastered persistence ceases to be influenced by the opinions of the undecided and the skepticism of the uncommitted. He no longer seeks reassurance from circumstances. Such a man develops a quiet confidence, not born of arrogance, but of experience. He knows that he does not retreat when conditions become uncomfortable. He knows that his decisions are not subject to revision by mood. This knowledge becomes a source of strength more durable than enthusiasm. When persistence reaches this stage, success ceases to be uncertain. It may be delayed, but it is no longer doubtful, for the individual has aligned himself with forces that do not reverse course. He has learned to stand firm while others withdraw. Persistence, therefore, is not merely a principle of success. It is the foundation upon which all other principles depend. Without it, desire dissolves. With it, even modest resources may be transformed into enduring achievement. Every individual who undertakes a definite purpose will, sooner or later, arrive at a point where comfort and advancement no longer occupy the same ground. From that moment forward, progress demands a deliberate choice. One may continue forward into uncertainty or retreat toward familiarity. The majority retreat, not because they intend to fail, but because they misunderstand the nature of discomfort. Discomfort is not an enemy of achievement. It is the condition through which achievement must pass. No individual ever moves from one level of attainment to another without experiencing a period of instability. This instability is often mistaken for danger, when in fact it is evidence of transition. Holding the line requires the individual to recognize this distinction. It demands that he remain loyal to his purpose even when circumstances offer no immediate reassurance. It requires him to understand that the absence of visible progress does not signify the absence of progress itself. Men frequently abandon their aims under the illusion of prudence. They convince themselves that withdrawal represents balance, wisdom, or self-preservation. Yet upon closer examination, such decisions are rarely guided by reason. They are guided by fear, fear of disappointment, fear of wasted effort, fear of continued uncertainty. Fear often disguises itself in respectable language. It calls itself realism. It presents itself as moderation. It urges the individual to avoid embarrassment, to minimize risk, to protect comfort. And because these arguments appear sensible, they are seldom questioned. The individual who holds the line learns to question them. Holding the line does not require reckless persistence. It requires intelligent endurance. The persistent individual rests when rest is required, reflects when reflection is necessary, and adjusts his methods when reason dictates. But he does not abandon his purpose simply to escape emotional strain. Emotional strain is temporary. The consequences of abandonment are permanent. When a man relinquishes his purpose prematurely, he may experience relief, but relief must not be confused with resolution. Relief merely quiets tension. It does not advance position. In time, relief gives way to regret, for the individual recognizes, often too late, that he retreated not because success was unattainable, but because perseverance became uncomfortable. Holding the line longer than comfort allows produces a transformation within the individual long before it produces results in the external world. It strengthens self-trust. It establishes inner authority. It teaches the mind to obey intention rather than impulse. This transformation is subtle. It does not announce itself through dramatic emotion. It reveals itself through steadiness. The individual becomes less reactive, less dependent upon approval, less disturbed by delay. He acts because action aligns with his decision, not because circumstances demand it. Over time, this steadiness becomes confidence, not the loud confidence of those who seek attention, but the quiet confidence of those who have tested themselves and remained standing. Such confidence cannot be borrowed, imitated, or purchased. It is earned through continued fidelity to purpose. It must be emphasized that success is seldom achieved through sudden effort applied at moments of convenience. It is achieved through sustained action maintained during periods when convenience has disappeared. Those who succeed are not immune to doubt. They simply refuse to allow doubt to determine their conduct. The individual who holds the line understands that feelings fluctuate, but decisions endure. He understands that discomfort is not a verdict upon his worth or his aim. It is merely the cost of advancement. When success finally manifests, it often appears sudden to the observer. Yet to the individual who has held the line, it feels inevitable. He recognizes the result not as fortune, but as consequence. He understands that what has appeared externally is merely the culmination of internal discipline applied over time. Thus, the difference between those who attempt and those who achieve lies not in opportunity, intelligence, or environment. It lies in the willingness to remain steadfast when comfort invites retreat. It lies in the capacity to endure uncertainty without surrendering purpose. Holding the line beyond comfort is not an act of force. It is an act of faith governed by reason. And it is this act, quiet, uncelebrated, and often unseen, that determines the ultimate direction of a life.